Hey, Peter the Cat here. I saw Fantastic Four yesterday, and it was not so fantastic. Oh, jeez. What a dull piece of crap. I guess, spoiler warning, I'll be talking about the ending and stuff, but, I guess the first thing to mention, the trailers might make this look like it's a dark and serious movie. It is serious, but it's not really that dark. I mean, it's not like gritty themes like the Batman movies went into. It's just dull. I get that the filmmakers want to try and distance themselves from the silly tone of the other Fantastic Four movies, but on the other hand, they didn't have the charm or humor the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies have. So it's like you get something that's in between. You get something really neutral, and that doesn't really stand out. It's just general superhero stuff. The main character, Reed Richards, he's a child genius. He builds a matter teleporter in his garage, because that happens. Child geniuses just pop up everywhere. Why haven't they taken over the world? He takes the matter teleporter thing to a science fair. I think I'm skipping ahead, when he's a teenager, but he takes it to a science fair. He shows it off, and the judge is like, that's just magic. We have no need of that stuff. I don't know. It's still pretty impressive, taking a model airplane and then putting in this matter thing and then disappears and there's dirt and rocks. I don't know. That's kind of impressive. I don't know how a magic trick like that would work, but here's the really silly thing. Even though the movie's really serious, there's still goofy leaps in logic here and there. Johnny Storm's father is a scientist. He's at this science fair and he sees Reed Richards' matter teleporter thing, and he's like, oh, our scientists have been trying to develop the same thing, and then he reveals that Victor Von Doom was developing the same thing at an even younger age, and it's wow, what a big coincidence. We also see Ben Grimm as a kid, and we see that he's abused by his older brother, but it never really goes anywhere. It's just he was abused as a kid, but there's that's kind of a running problem with this movie. Stuff is just underdeveloped, or there isn't enough character development. I kind of feel maybe there's a bunch of deleted scenes where they expanded on this stuff, but it got cut out. Kind of like how Avengers 2, Age of Ultron had a bunch of deleted stuff that was cut out because reasons.
And that probably was the case if this deleted tweet from the director's Twitter is to be believed.
When Ben Grimm becomes a thing, there's never a scene where his family sees him and his brother is like, oh, I feel so remorseful that I was abusive to you. There's none of that. So there's after we see the science fair thing, time skips 7 years ahead, and they build a bigger version of Reed Richards' matter transporter thing, and he meets Sue Storm and Johnny Storm. Johnny Storm, by the way, has a little Mario Fire Flower air freshener thing in his car. That's kind of cute. And he meets Victor Von Doom, who's young, and they kind of become friends. But again, the movie is kind of underdeveloped. So when Doctor Doom becomes the villain, well, I'll explain it more when we get to that part. But they test the matter transporter on some monkeys, and it's oh, it works. And then here's kind of a funny thing. Reed Richards and Doctor Doom, and he's not Human Torch. Johnny Storm they all get drunk, and they're oh, let's go into the matter transporter thing. And then they go to the alternate planet, and Doctor Doom touches this green energy stuff, and it overreacts, and they have to run away, and while they're running away, they climb up this wall, and Reed Richards tries to pull Doctor Doom up, but then he falls back down into the energy stuff. And this is what I mean by the movie's not well developed. You would think that Doctor Doom being left on this planet, he'd hold a grudge against Reed Richards, and when he finally is brought back, he's Reed Richards, you left me to die. No, there isn't really any of that. It's just, I mean, they do fight and stuff, but the Doctor Doom doesn't really have hatred for Reed Richards, like that stuff from the comic and like other media, that's not there in this movie. So they kind of missed out on that. Like, but then the Fantastic Four, they get their powers from this green whatever. Um, and another problem, like we see them, react to like, they're in captivity under all these scientists studying them, and like Ben Grimm is promised, hey, if you fight for the military, we'll find you a cure. And then they time skip ahead a year later, like so we don't get to see the Fantastic Four like how they develop their powers or learn to control them or anything. It's just Ben Grimm's, now fighting in the military. Invisible Woman and Johnny Storm, like we don't see them try and learn to develop their powers. We see them like a little bit of training and stuff, but that's really it. Like and then Reed Richards, he runs away like from the lab thing, and they don't find him for a year. But here's the funny thing, like he runs away, but then they like find him 10 minutes later. So there wasn't really much of a point of him just running away. They go back to the planet, they find Doctor Doom, and he's got the metallic body, and so the green stuff like gives Doctor Doom some whatever powers. There's one part where he like makes a dude's head explode, but he never really uses that power again. Like when he's fighting the Fantastic Four, he doesn't just make all of them explode. And it's another a thing that kind of bugs me about like a lot of the movie is dull. There isn't much action really. You see Ben Grimm in the military, but it's just like video news stuff. You see him fighting, and if you saw the trailer with him like jumping out of a plane, and then he's like, I'm gonna beat someone up. That's not in the movie. You never really see him really in the military. It's just like news stuff, newsreels you see him in, and like the movie realizes, oh, we've been dull for like an hour and a half. Let's suddenly have this big climax with Doctor Doom trying to blow up the Earth or something, or reform the Earth or whatever. Like, he's doing the same shit that General Zod tried to do, basically.
The climax of Man of Steel with the World Engine shooting a laser that's gonna reform the Earth and kill everyone, plus the Tesseract wormhole from the Avengers, equals the climax of Fantastic Four.
They kill Doctor Doom, what a way, like, he's like one of the greatest Marvel villains, and already they just dispose of him. Gee, wow. I don't know what they're going to do with Fantastic Four 2. I don't know, just cross over with the X-Men or something, but, and there isn't really a setup for this, whatever the next movie might be, other than they just think of what to call themselves, and they get their base, and, so it's not like the Marvel Cinematic Universe where they're setting up for movies, and it's just, oh, what do we call ourselves? The Fantastic Four. It's just a really, really lame movie. That's all I can really say about it. I might watch the 1994 movie just for kicks. I don't know. That may be a dumb movie, but at least it didn't pretend it's not a dumb movie. Anyway, Peter the Cat here. Bye, everyone.
I couldn't pass this up. Here's some of the funniest things I've seen people saying about the Fantastic Four movie on Twitter. Has anyone made a parody profile picture for Fantastic Four yet? Straight out of the dumpster or straight to DVD? Fox is in an inevitable position in response to Fantastic Four. They can't admit defeat and let Marvel produce something better. What a disaster! Marvel must be fuming that Fox has ruined such a major comic book franchise. Rest in peace the 50 or so brave and original movies that could have been made with Fantastic Four's budget. At some point, we as a species will have to accept the fact that all Fantastic Four movies are inherently awful. The science is in. Can I just say that the way they introduced the "it's clobberin' time" phrase in Fantastic Four was just awful? Felt like a parody. The phrase was introduced when Ben Grimm was being beaten up by his big brother, so that's why it bothered some people. Ways to salvage the Fantastic Four movie? Turn the whole damn thing into a parody and add comical music. It cannot be taken seriously. If you're looking for a great movie to make you fall asleep, Fantastic Four is the best. I think that Fantastic Four would be perfect to use as a satire or even almost a parody of superhero movies as they are nowadays. To be honest, the Jimmy Neutron parody of Fantastic Four was better than the new Fantastic Four. Sadly, Fantastic Four felt like a mix between one long trailer, watching someone play a video game you've completed, and a parody of the Avengers. If you did see Fantastic Four, I'm sorry. Do yourself a favor and watch The Winter Soldier to wash the stink off. A parody porn of Fantastic Four would have been better, and those are pretty horrible. Fantastic Four is so bad that even the porn industry says it doesn't want to parody it because it'll be ironic being fucked again.